1 Scene 6, Macbeth. Um, from Act 1 Scene 5, we see that from the King's Palace, they are on their way to Macbeth's place at Glamis, which is in the north. All right, so speed up. They've kind of sped up, and now they are approaching Macbeth's castle. Um, and we see here kind of Duncan and Banquo, and they have quite an easy conversation. Duncan comes across as someone who is very much at peace with himself, at peace with the world. He's just overcome the Norwegians in a war, and he is. Some of the beautiful imagery that comes through here is freedom and life, and beauty, the beauty of nature. Duncan is definitely someone who, in a sense, he's quite natural. He's a thing of nature and a thing of beauty. And we've got Banquo, and if we remember, Banquo is quite sort of an observant sort of character. It's a short scene, but it's an important scene because, in a way, remember, we're always thinking of the audience. The audience have seen in Act 1, Scene 5 how Macbeth and his wife, and especially his wife, Lady Macbeth, have planned to kill Duncan when she says, the raven croaks hoarse. That idea, that imagery of death, but also that idea under her fatal battlements, that she, in a sense, is planning to kill King Duncan. So now, as they're approaching, we have this dramatic irony. And the dramatic irony is for the audience that we know that Duncan is approaching a place wherein they are planning to kill him. And so what you got is our knowledge as the audience that things are really dark and horrible there, but yet the outside of the castle and where it sits is quite beautiful. And so we get this beautiful irony, but also that kind of that idea of what is seen is not what is actually the truth of the matter. And we see that when he says the Thane of Cawdor, okay, and there's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. It's similar to this in a sense, is that we see that what you see is not reality in a sense, that appearances are deceptive, okay, and again, back to what fair is foul and foul is fair. And that always comes back to that. It's the beauty of the play. It's never far away. Fair is foul and foul is fair. So let's have a look. So Duncan comes in. This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses. And here, in a sense of seat, is where it's placed. The castle, obviously, is probably on a hill, and it's sort of quite a beautiful, pleasant place to see. And Banquo counters with the temple haunt like Margaret does approve, and the martlet is like a small bird. And it would sort of find its place during the summer times in this particular place. But it says here the temple haunting. It's not no ghostly thing, but in a sense, it's almost like a sacred place. It favours sacred places, places of peace, places of godlike kind of reverence. By his loved mansionry that heaven's breath smells wooingly here, no jutty frieze, buttress, or coign of vantage. But this bird hath made his pendant procreant arcade here with the most breed and haunt I have observed. The air is delicate. And here we sort of see this no jutty frieze, no buttress, nor coign of vantage. And what he's talking about is actually the castle itself. We get this idea that this is not a castle with kind of lots of battlements and stuff like that, and overwrought and very, for want of a better word, castle-y, you know. That really it's quite plain. In a sense, it kind of reflects the character of Macbeth. He's a pretty plain character in a sense, and his wife understands that. She understands too that he's actually, he may be ambitious, but he doesn't really have what it takes to carry that through. Okay, so there we are. And here we get this beautiful Machiavellian kind of interchange that begins happening here. And this kind of, now remember, this is a woman who is already planning to kill her guest. Okay, see our honoured hostess, that love that follows us sometimes is our trouble, which we still thank as God. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God illness for pains, and thank you for your trouble. So already he's complimenting her. He's got a very genteel way of speaking, as kings did. They were kind of regal. Because you have to remember too that back in those days that the king, in a sense, was God's representative on earth. And that was known as the divine right of kings. And that's an important understanding. The divine right of kings, which meant that, in a sense, that with God, who couldn't, in a sense, kind of look after the people on earth directly, would appoint someone, and these were the kings, and that's why their blood is considered noble, and they were divinely appointed by God. And so, if you were to take the life of a king, by the fact you're actually trying to depose God, in a sense. In a way, it's an act against God. And we see that come through later on in the play when Macduff finds King Duncan murdered. Hopefully that's not a spoiler. But yeah. So anyway, there he is. He kind of gives this lovely compliment to Lady Macbeth, and she says, "All your service in every point, twice done and then done double. We're poor and single business to contend against these honours, deep and broad, wherewith your majesty loads our house for those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them. We rest your hermits." Now, twice done and then done double. Now, this is kind of reflected as well in what the witches say. It's almost like a witch-like kind of thing. She says this double toil and trouble. We're poor and single business to contend with, and then she's saying, "Oh, it's no trouble, King. We would do it again because we love you so much, and we rest your hermits." And hermits, in a sense, here, a hermit was someone, in a sense, who cut themselves off, in a way, to be apart from society because they wanted to be kind of spend most of their time considering God and being, holy, in a sense. And what a contrast between this idea that, we rest your hermits, that, Macbeth and I are, holily waiting for you. You're like a god coming to kind of hang out with us. We're your hermits. We've been thinking about you and preparing for your coming. And all the while in the background, the audience is thinking, "Oh, wow, God, this lady's cold. She's cold." All right, so, and she is. Duncan says, "Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath holp him to his home before us, fair and noble hostess. We are your guests tonight." And again, kind of Duncan saying, well, where's Macbeth? We tried chasing after him, but he was far too fast. He was wanting to get back in time to sort of welcome us at his home. And, where is he? Lady Macbeth, in a sense, she says, "Your servants ever make theirs themselves, and what is theirs in compt, to make their audience at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own." And again, Lady Macbeth, in a sense, you're almost like in a bit of metadrama in a way that she's playing a role now to be, to show the innocent flower but be the serpent underneath it. She says that in Act 1, Scene 4, and that is very, very important, is that we see that Lady Macbeth is playing a role, that people are playing a role, and Macbeth, in a sense, he can't play a role. She says that in Act 1, Scene 5, where she says, your face is a place wherein man may read strange matters. And it's very, very telling. He can't really hide who he is. And Duncan says, "Give me your hand, conduct me to mine host. We love him highly. We shall continue our graces towards him by your leave, hostess." Now, I want to flick back to 5. Okay. Let's see what one of the last things she says there. Shall sun that morrow see? Oh, never shall that sun that morrow see. Who's she talking about? Duncan. Who's that sun? The sun that graces the sky? She's talking about Duncan. So in a sense, he's a metaphor for Duncan. Your face, my thane, is a book wherein men read me strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Okay? Reflect what you don't see. Bear welcome in your eye. Okay? Hand your tongue, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. Okay, he that's coming must be provided for, and you shall lend this night's great business into my dispatch. So there she is, in scene 5, kind of, saying, well, we're going to, you leave it to me, and King Duncan will be taken care of. But also, Macbeth, you got to get with the program here, because at the end, okay, your book is where men may read strange matters. And in a sense, that's a nice metaphor there. Okay, his face is a book. He's quite open in a way in strange matters. He's troubled. He's troubled by what he's saying, and that's very, very important. But we see that she's definitely the catalyst here, that she's going to take care of everything. And again, we got that lovely contrast between what we know is happening inside the castle, okay, in Act 4, Scene 5, Act 1, Scene 5, and in Act 1, Scene 6, what's happening outside the castle. We got that lovely dramatic irony, okay, that contrast between the two, because this is a play of contrasts. And again, that Banquo, again, this is Macbeth's most trusted. He has no idea, him himself. He's talking about how, in a sense, the castle reflects the owner. The owner is a place unadorned by frieze and buttress, and but yet even the birds are drawn to it as a place that's sort of safe, a place that's holy in a sense. Okay.